Welcome to this video. Right now, there's probably a little jar of cinnamon sitting somewhere in your kitchen cabinet. And there's a real medical detective story going on right now about whether that exact spice can actually help manage diabetes. It's a topic that has absolutely flooded the internet lately, but today, we're skipping all the wild hype and going straight to the hard scientific literature. So, let's just get right into it. Millions of people who are managing prediabetes and type 2 diabetes are asking this exact question. You see it constantly on wellness blogs, or maybe you hear it from well-meaning friends, right? They'll say, oh, just sprinkle some cinnamon on your morning oatmeal and your blood sugar is going to plummet. But is that actually true? Or is it just a massive oversimplification of a much more complex biological reality? Well, science actually points us to a really fascinating middle ground. As it turns out, the truth is highly nuanced. Cinnamon is neither a magic cure nor a biological myth. Today, we're going to explore exactly how this spice works on a cellular level, what the clinical trials actually prove, and, really importantly, the hidden dangers in your spice rack that pretty much nobody is talking about.
Part 1. The cellular journey, the biology of cinnamaldehyde.
Meet cinnamaldehyde. This molecule is literally the primary suspect in our medical investigation today. It makes up roughly 50 to 95% of cinnamon's essential oil, depending on the specific species of the plant. It's exactly what gives cinnamon that distinctive, warm, spicy flavor that we all love. But researchers have discovered something pretty amazing. It does a whole lot more than just taste good. It actually fundamentally alters how your cells handle sugar. Okay, so how does it work? It's basically a brilliant biological chain reaction that literally forces your cells to pull extra glucose out of your bloodstream. Think of a receptor called the TRPA1 channel as a locked gate on the outside of your cell. Cinnamaldehyde acts as the key. When it unlocks that gate, a huge rush of calcium floods into the cell. This calcium surge acts like a loud alarm bell, telling the cell to send these things called GLUT4 transporters up to the cell membrane. Once they get there, these transporters act like tiny little vacuums, just sucking glucose right out of your blood and into the cell where you can actually use it for energy. And you know what's truly fascinating? Cinnamon doesn't just act like a sugar vacuum, it actually protects your natural insulin response too. There's an enzyme called PTP1B, and it basically acts like an off switch for your insulin receptors. Well, cinnamaldehyde chemically blocks that enzyme. By suppressing this off switch, cinnamon helps prolong your insulin receptor activation. Basically, your body gets way more mileage out of the insulin it naturally produces.
Part 2. Clinical reality check, clinical trial data revealed.
But a biological chain reaction happening in a petri dish is one thing, right? What happens in real humans? When we pull the hard data from dozens of clinical trials and thousands of patients, we start to see the real picture. The data tells us that fasting glucose drops significantly, anywhere between 15 and 24 milligrams per deciliter. I mean, that is a real measurable benefit. But when we look at HbA1c, which is your long-term marker for blood sugar control over several months, the reductions are either statistically insignificant or they're incredibly tiny.
So the reality we really have to come to terms with here is clear. Cinnamon absolutely provides modest, reliable reductions in fasting blood sugar and those post-meal spikes. However, it does not move the needle enough on long-term HbA1c to act as a standalone cure. It is simply not going to replace your metformin.
It's exactly like Dr. G.R. Romeo, who actually led a clinical trial on prediabetes, reminds us, this spice is a supplement to your prescribed medications, your diet, and your exercise. It's a helpful adjunct. If you treat it as a supportive tool rather than, a pharmaceutical replacement, the science says it can absolutely be part of a healthy metabolic strategy.
Part 3. The grocery store aisle, Ceylon versus Cassia.
Okay, so this is crucial. The vast majority of cinnamon sold globally, and yeah, almost certainly what's sitting in your pantry right this second, is the Cassia variety. It's cheap, it's dark, and it has a very strong, punchy flavor. Ceylon, on the other hand, is known as true cinnamon. It comes mostly from Sri Lanka, it's much lighter, it's sweeter, and it's far more expensive and harder to find. But the difference here isn't just about taste or how much it costs at the grocery store.
And this brings us to a massive safety difference between the two types, a naturally occurring chemical called coumarin. Now, in small culinary amounts, coumarin is totally fine. But in high, chronic doses, like say taking a daily supplement for diabetes, coumarin is hepatotoxic, which means it can cause serious liver damage.
Get this, 250. That is an absolutely staggering difference. Cassia cinnamon contains approximately 250 times more coumarin than Ceylon cinnamon. Ceylon contains only tiny trace amounts of this liver toxin. So the takeaway here, if you're going to take cinnamon regularly as a medical supplement, Ceylon is overwhelmingly the safer choice.
Part 4. The villain in the spice rack. Safety risks and coumarin.
Because natural doesn't automatically mean harmless, the European Food Safety Authority set a strict tolerable daily intake of coumarin. It's just 0.1 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. To put that into perspective, for an average adult, that's roughly 7 milligrams of coumarin a day. If you are using the cheap Cassia cinnamon, you can actually exceed that safe liver threshold with just over a half teaspoon a day. No joke.
This is exactly why you absolutely must talk to your doctor before starting any kind of cinnamon regimen. Think about the interactions. Cinnamon can amplify the effects of insulin or metformin, which could cause your blood sugar to crash to some pretty unsafe levels. And because coumarin taxes the liver, taking it alongside statins or acetaminophen can cause compounded liver stress. Plus, since coumarin is a natural anticoagulant, it can severely interfere with blood thinners like warfarin.
Now, if you and your doctor do decide that cinnamon is right for your metabolic health plan, the data is actually super clear on how you should take it. The most comprehensive research to date shows that taking up to 2 grams a day in capsule form is way more effective than just swallowing raw powder. The capsule basically acts like a tiny shield, protecting all those amazing bioactive components from being destroyed by your stomach acid before they can even reach your intestines.
Part 5. The verdict on cinnamon and diabetes.
So this all leaves us with a really fascinating choice about how we integrate traditional, natural supplements with modern clinical science in our daily lives. The science clearly shows cinnamon isn't a myth. It really does have genuine glucose-lowering properties. But it certainly isn't a miracle cure, and the type you buy matters immensely for your liver's health. So, what's your next move? Will you be checking your spice rack to upgrade to Ceylon, or are you sticking purely to prescribed medications? Armed with this data, that choice is entirely yours.